I'm actually just going to take these as my example. So one end of the spectrum here, so I've just moved this out of the way. If you just put PLM here, and then you've got super flexible, customizable tools like Asana, Monday, Airtable, Excel. This, like the positives of this, it's fashion specific. It really understands the unique needs of this industry, but it's quite rigid. It's also been built a while back and it's not necessarily evolved to cater to the modern brand. On this side, you've got tools that are fully flexible to your process. You can start using them immediately. You can set up a nice timeline in Asana or Monday pretty quick, and it kind of gives brands that user experience that feels more them, that everyone can get on board with. But it's so customizable that you spend so much time setting up these frameworks, and you make it, the most important thing is that you're making it work for you. And just you as a business. Now, someone joins in, they've actually set up a different way of working in their other brand. You share it with the factory, they're then bending over to these 20 different ways that every single brand shares with them a different layout. So it's so customizable that actually, if you jump into it, it can be really hard to make sense of it immediately. So at least here, PLM flower here, you know what you're looking at when you're looking at it because it's structured in a way that makes sense and it's always the same. This, you're jumping in and you go, well, okay, so let me just get my head around. So we've got the stars here, this is okay, yeah, that makes sense. And by the time you made sense of it, you're probably a little bit lost and then you put information in the wrong place. There's too much room for error there, and that's too much structure and rigidity. Have you ever been on a rubbish date? Yeah, so most of the brands that we actually speak to do about 2 or 3 minutes into the conversation with them, we hear them bring up their ex. Now, I'm not talking about the ex that you're thinking about. We're talking about a bad implementation ex. So this word implementation, you can see people's hairs go on end and they just think, not another implementation. And everyone recounts their awful stories of their bad breakup, this horrible implementation process. They're scarred by the experience. It shouldn't take 6 months to start learning something. When we started designing Supply Compass, we created the mum test. And the mum test is me putting our platform in front of my mum. She's not from the fashion industry, but it doesn't matter. You could be the biggest expert in a part of the process, but you need to be able to find your way around that platform immediately. Otherwise, if you're a factory or someone new to a company trying to work out where something's at and you can't find it, then we failed.